And with a gold necklace on the snow, the movie begins. A woman seen dangling over the edge of an icy cliff. Furthermore, it doesn't appear that she'll be able to get herself up, and when the screen goes dark, she screams. A young girl's racing through a forest while wearing a red jacket. She appears nervous and afraid, but soon after, she arrives at a house and knocks on the door while checking her surroundings. When Alex opens it, he's shocked to see Eva standing at his door. When he asks her where her mother is and why she's there, the young child passes out before she can respond. Then, we see that it's the year 2041. A plane flies over the snow-capped mountains to a small airfield, where David was waiting for Alex to get off from the plane. David's happy to see Alex, who exits the aircraft with his robotic cat following behind him and a small travel bag in hand. After exchanging warm embraces for the first time in 10 years, they both decide to head out. They discuss the incredible robots Alex has built and how David enjoys lecturing because he gets along well with the students. Although David extends an invitation for Alex to stay with his family, Alex insists on staying at his parents' house, which they both believe would be hectic. At the university, students were working on many robots, and as Alex was leaving, David invites Alex to dinner, to which he accepts. He enters the campus and heads towards Julia's office. However, he's met by a robotic receptionist who informs him that Julia is currently teaching a class and won't be available. He ignores the robot and enters the class anyway. The students instantly recognize him. Julia then greets him. Alex approaches two students who appear to be struggling with their little robot horse, and he inquired as to their next course of action. Furthermore, a student asks, "What do you see when you close your eyes?" a question that instantly shuts down any robot. That annoys Alex, who tells the students that the robot will lose all emotional memory even if they restart it. In addition, Julia informs the other students that the phrase is sacred and ought to be reserved for the most dire circumstances. When Alex looks through the window that Julia has led him to, he sees a robot that resembles a boy in real life. Everything about the SI-9 is constructed exactly as Alex intended 10 years ago. There's only one thing missing from it: the software for emotional intelligence. Julia had long since given up on the idea that Alex could figure out how to install the software. As soon as they enter and Alex carefully examines the robot's structure, Julia asks him to finish the project he began so many years ago, because he's the only one who can make this robot safe and enjoyable. Alex approaches Julia's car and is about to get in when he spots Lana, his ex-lover. He looks shocked and shaken to see her instructing a class of people. When she realizes it's him, she also pauses for a moment, but he gets into the car and they leave. When they arrive at the house, he opens the door by scanning his palm. They can see that the inside of the house is quite filthy and still contains old photos of Alex and his family. When he tells her he wants to set up in the basement, she promises to ship the necessary parts to him first thing the following morning. Alex had fallen asleep while working and was woken up by a knock at the door. When he opens it, SI-7, an android by the name of Max, greets him. Max examines the house and lists everything that needs to be done and cleaned up. When Alex questions Max, he learns that Max is more akin to a personal assistant and that Max is created by David, his brother. After leaving Max to clean, he goes to the university, where Alex and Julia were watching videos of various boys doing various tasks. However, Alex finds them all too dull to use as the basis for the new model's character, so he doesn't really like them. He chooses to stop by after realizing that Lana was giving a lecture just as he was ready to leave the building. The lesson concludes as he gets seated, and when the pupils have left, she informs him that they're studying his theories, but he insisted that they're there to see her. However, they both couldn't help but smile. One of the girls in the group of girls playing catches Alex's attention as he drives home, when Ava, wearing a red jacket, confronts him and asks him why he's staring at the kids so much. He responds. Still, he was taken aback. She was a pretty, self-assured young girl, everything for which Alex had searched. Then she bluntly accuses him of being a pervert who enjoys staring at children, and Alex was convinced by this, since this was precisely the kind of interesting child he had been looking for. When he offers her candy, she drives home her point that he's a pervert, but she takes the candy anyways. After that, he tells her about his work and extends an invitation to collaborate. Upon entering the house, he observes Max preparing dinner and making a basket for the cat. Because the cat's a free robot and doesn't follow the same rules as Max, the two couldn't really get along. Alex starts working on developing a software that works with the new model after eating. Once he's satisfied with the design, he sends it to a prototype robot, which awakens and begins to function while Alex records its actions. The robot becomes frightened when a phone call is received, and it was David who extends an invitation to Alex to stay and have dinner. When he arrives at David's house that evening, they discuss Max there. It's obvious that Lana and David are married as soon as Lana enters, but then Alex is taken aback by something that occurs. David tells Ava to introduce herself to Uncle Alex as soon as she walks through the door. She does, giving him a wink without letting him know that she's previously met Alex. Around the dinner table, the four of them discuss Alex and his work. After that, he records them playing together on camera. Max asks Alex if it would be unusual for the girl to serve as a robot model. However, Alex informs him that this is exactly what he was searching for, but Alex seemed to be more interested in Lana than Ava in the video. Alex falls asleep working again and is woken up by the sound of rocks being thrown at his window. It was Ava, and after he greets her as he exits his home, she jumps off the roof of the car she was sitting in and enters the house. She fiddles with the various devices in the workshop, and after he's done configuring the computer, Alex allows her to describe to him the movements she observes on the various screen images. Then, bored, she walks away, but he doesn't stay behind. She then returns. Alex shows her the brain he's working on and all of its components because she's adamant about seeing them. She witnesses the prototype robot awaken when he turns it on. Now that she was home, Ava was taking a bath while Lana was doing her hair. Ava informs Lana that she was upset when she rode her bike out of town with Alex that day and issues a warning not to do so in the future. Lana tries her best to explain when Ava boldly asks about the nature of her relationship with Alex, but she ultimately plays it off with a joke. At the university, Alex was attempting to persuade Julia to base the model on a girl rather than a boy, because in his opinion, girls are more engaging and enjoyable than boys of that age. As he leaves and encounters Lana, they stroll together to the parking lot. It's clear from their conversation that tension and unresolved emotions still exist between them. When Ava returns to Alex's house in the morning, he tells her to go because her parents still want her to be working on the project, even though David was there to pick her up. However, she persuades him to stay, and they go ice skating, something Alex isn't very adept at. Ava then performs some moves for him. Together, they scale the mountain to see the city, and she gives him a tour of her home. She also tells them that David resides in another house she shows them across town. She responds that David no longer lives with her and Lana when he inquires as to why. The prototype robot asks them if Ava is his daughter, since she resembles him so much that evening while Alex is watching the video that he took with her. And because he left Lana in the university around the time that Ava would have been conceived, this makes Alex think. The following day, as Lana and Ava were playing in the snow outside their home, Alex was watching through the fence when he was startled by David, who was returning home. Alex is invited inside by David, but he comes up with a reason not to accept. That night, Alex was working on his prototype, and as he was going through the images, the robot said something that made Alex laugh. But when he laughed, the robot got offended and went into rage, throwing paper on the floor. Alex tries to command it to stop, but the robot wouldn't listen and asks Alex to open the door because it wanted to leave. And when Alex says no, the robot throws a wood carver at his head but misses. And that's when Alex had enough and says the phrase, "What do you see when you close your eyes?" which shuts down the robot. At a dinner party, Alex watches Lana and David dancing and goes over to ask to cut in, and David lets him. When David sees the tension between Alex and Lana, he gets angry and storms off, and she gets nervous and wants to go look for David. When they couldn't find him, they started talking and one thing led to another, and Alex kisses Lana. And for a moment, she kisses him back, but quickly breaks it off and runs away. At this point, David approaches Alex from behind and punches him in the face. After their altercation, David tells Alex to get away while standing over him. He receives an embrace from Max after tidying up, and later that day he informs Julia that he won't be able to complete the project. Julia inquires as to whether Lana's to blame, but he walks off without responding. When Alex next visits Ava, he informs her that he'll be departing shortly. Ava's understandably upset by this and begs him to stay, saying that she's only recently had the opportunity to meet him. Moreover, it's obvious that they have a unique bond of some sort. Lana visits him in his workshop and apologizes, but they kiss again the moment she descends the stairs. Lana continues, saying she has something significant to tell him. Ava heard Lana tell Alex that they made Ava, and something else that Ava couldn't make out while she was staring out the window during all this. When Ava makes a noise from where she was, Lana chases after her and demands to be the one to tell Ava the truth. She finds Ava passed down on the snow, and she cuts out the skin of her back and reveals a metal casing. It seems that Ava was a robot. Ava regains consciousness after Lana makes a fast adjustment. Furthermore, Ava shoved Lana away and wouldn't listen when Lana tried to tell her what she really is. The gold necklace broke when Lana attempted to give her a hug. Ava pushed one more time and Lana fell and slid over the edge. This is when she ran toward Alex's house at the opening scene, and Alex carries Ava inside till she wakes up, and he calls David to tell him about Ava, but he hears that Lana's inside the hospital, and when hearing this he takes Ava with him, and they rushed over there, but unfortunately Lana died there in the hospital. and Max laid down a tired Ava and Alex talks to Julia. She tells them that Ava was the first SI-9 that he worked on originally, and Lana kept her despite having safety issues. And at this point, they had no other choice but to dispose of Ava, so Alex volunteers to do it. He took her ice skating one last time, and after they took a walk through the snow, she showed him a view and asked him to fix her. But there was nothing he could do. At home, he takes her to bed, and once he puts her down, he whispers those words, "What do you see when you close your eyes?" Shutting her down one last time, and the movie ends as we see a sequence of Adam, Lana, and Ava playing at the beach wearing white.